It's time to go to our featured guest, Joe Lopez. He's a global business strategist and he's a startup growth and exit expert. So, welcome to the show, Joe. You're
Thank you.
you're talking to us from just outside Zurich, Switzerland. Very cool. You're very kind of helps with your international patina. And tell us what you've been up to and what you've got going on for the future.
Oh, great. Thanks so much. Yeah, I just had a successful exit from a startup I created off of a napkin 4 years ago. It was a dream that I had and an idea. 4 years later, I exited the business and sold my shares just a month ago, almost to the day. So I'm out here in Switzerland having meetings as I'm getting ready to form a new advisory group that's going to specialize in helping brands from the EU scale and come into the US and sell their products in the US because a lot of these companies over in Europe don't know how to do that. So that's what I'm going to be working on, and I'm very excited about it.
That's great. So, what made you decide to get back on the horse so quickly? I would think after an exit, you'd like to take 6 months or a year off and just regenerate.
Gosh, me too. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that question other than if I just stop, I don't know that I'll be able to start again.
No,
So
I
I
I
just,
think I think I have the answer to that question, Joe.
okay.
I think you're like Richard. We'll never retire. You know what?
Right.
Because our brains won't stop working. And we could try to not do anything and we always end up doing something. So I think you're probably just one of those kind of people that just can't sit around and watch reruns of Gilligan's Island or something, you know?
Hey, that's a great show.
Yeah. Very enlightening with what we were taught growing up.
But
But
what she says is right. I mean, it's like you
Yeah.
spend 40 years, 50 years turning yourself into a machine of sorts, getting up, doing it every day. And after a while, your neural pathways are just conditioned to keep going, right? And so I sometimes find it hard to stop, even though I'm supposed to.
right. Well, I want to talk a
I
little.
hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about getting a company ready for an exit because when I
Hmm.
doing the video directory, I tried to start it from day one to be positioned to sell because I knew I didn't want to keep it. And so what can people do with their companies if they're starting a company now, because we're hoping that some of our listeners are thinking about it? What would you do from day one to set it up so you could eventually have a great exit?
That's a great question. There's a few things. The first thing is to actually position your company and look at the market that you're in. So take a look at whatever market it is that you want to go to, whatever industry that is, what trade it is, and see where you might be able to build something that's a little different than the market leaders that you could see in the future might be able to attach to their business or round out something. Let's give an example. Say there's a company in the industry that you want to move into that's selling into consumer products selling into a big chain retailers, right? And they're really good at that. Are they going to want to buy somebody who's also selling into big chain retailers, or would they want maybe somebody who's selling to mom and pop stores or a specialist at online? And if you can see that from the beginning, chances and you're successful, chances are those competitors are going to see that as well. And that's the number one reason for acquisition is that they try to round out their business.
So, how do you know when it's time to exit?
Well, that's a personal question for most founders, and it can relate to. I've seen it all across the board because prior to doing what I'm doing now, I was a venture capitalist in Silicon Valley, which means that I was working with a bank that helped fund startups. So I worked with founders that had great ideas and dreams and helped make them come to reality. So at the looking at the broad macro view of that, what is it that drives these dreams and these people, and what do they want at the end? And that's answer is very different. It's an individual, there's no one answer there. But I would say that for the majority of people, it's when they feel like they've reached a point where their skill set can no longer really contribute to the business, and they need to bring in other people who can help either fund it, or maybe they're really good with talking, but they need people to help running the numbers more, and they
Mhm.
help bring in others to operate the business at a different speed and scale. Those are usually the times where I see businesses wanting a founder to exit.